Cyclone Nivar to slam Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, winds up to 145 kilometers per hour. Likely to become very severe storm, IMD says Nivar likely to cross Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coast in the evening. Advises fishermen not to venture out into the sea. Flights to and from Chennai cancelled. Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks to Tamil Nadu CM and Puducherry CM on severe cyclonic storm Nivar. Assures all possible help. NCMC reviews preparedness. Very severe cyclone Nivar, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Puducherry. At least 30 NDRF teams on standby mode. President Kovind to inaugurate 80th edition of two-day All India Presiding Officers Conference at Kevadia in Gujarat today. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu and Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla arrive at Kevadia. PM to participate in concluding session tomorrow. President, Vice President and Prime Minister Modi condole sad demise of Congress veteran leader and Rajya Sabha MP Ahmed Patel. PM Modi says his role in strengthening Congress party will be well remembered. He spent his life in serving society. Uttar Pradesh passes resolution to promulgate ordinance against unlawful religious conversions to maintain law and order and ensure justice for women. Law declares marriage for the sake of conversion null and void. Global COVID cases surpass 6 crore with 14.13 fatalities worldwide. UK to relax COVID restrictions for Christmas. Spain to vaccinate nursing home workers and residents first. French President Macron says worst of virus second wave over. Lockdown to ease. Janet Yellen, former chair of US Federal Reserve, to be first woman to head country's treasury. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukma. Well, we are focusing now on the cyclonic storm Nivar, which in the Bay of Bengal has intensified into a severe cyclonic storm since this morning. The Met Department in Chennai has said it is set to further intensify into very severe cyclonic storm later in the day today. It is expected to make landfall late this evening between Karaikal and Mamalapuram, close to Puducherry. During landfall, the wind speed is expected to be in the range of 130 to 140 kilometers per hour, gusting to 155 kilometers per hour. Under the impact of the cyclone, 7 districts in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry are expected to get extremely heavy rainfall at isolated places today. 16 other districts, including Chennai and suburbs, will experience isolated heavy to very heavy rains, as informed by weather officials. Chennai and its suburbs experienced torrential rains for a few hours last evening, leaving arterial roads under sheets of water. Many other parts of the state also reported fairly widespread rain in the last 24 hours. And as we were telling you, cyclonic storm Nivar has intensified from severe and very likely to intensify into very severe cyclonic storm category. And according to N. Puviyarasan from IMD Chennai, Cyclone Nivar lies 350 kilometers southeast of Chennai, moving northwest and is likely to intensify into severe cyclonic storm and cross between Karaikal and Mahabalipuram today late evening or at night.
A severe cyclonic storm Nivar now lays over southwest Bay of Bengal at a distance of 350 km southeast of Chennai and 300 km from Puducherry and 260 km from Cuddalore. It is now moving northwestwards and likely to intensify into a severe cyclonic storm and cross between Karaikal and Mahabalipuram near Puducherry by today late evening or night. At the time of crossing, the wind speed is likely to be 120 to 130, gusting to 145 kmph all along the Puducherry and Tamil Nadu coast. Chennai is likely to experience intermittent heavy to very heavy spells. In last 24 hours, Chennai Nungambakam recorded a very heavy rainfall of 115 centimeter.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday assured all possible help, speaking to Tamil Nadu and Puducherry's chief ministers on severe cyclonic storm Nivar. The Prime Minister assured all possible help to the states. Union Cabinet Secretary Rajiv Gauba chaired a meeting of the National Crisis Management Committee to review the status of impending cyclone Nivar through video conferencing with Chief Secretaries of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. The Chief Secretaries of Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry explained to the NCMC about their preparedness and informed that the authorities are fully prepared to meet any eventuality. The state governments informed about the coordination with the NDRF and other agencies to meet this natural challenge. And joining us now is our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya. Tapas, we're hearing about heavy spells already having begun in Chennai. What is the IMD saying as per the position of the cyclone right now? Also, we believe that very squally winds are likely, gusty winds are likely in a few hours from now. Give us more details.
Yes, absolutely. So, today by 5:30 a.m. from yesterday morning 8:30 to today morning 5:30 a.m. almost 120 mm rainfall has already taken place in Chennai, and as far as the cyclone Nivar is concerned, it is currently going around 7 km/h and currently lay centered around nearly 290 km east southeast of Cuddalore. Which is south and almost 300 kilometers of southeast of Puducherry and 350 kilometers southeast of Chennai. So it is moving in a way, but a lot of people earlier thought that it will be moving in a more speedy manner, but it is not happening that way. And earlier one was expecting the landfall to happen somewhere in the somewhere during noontime, post noontime, but it seems that now it will happen around night, late evening or night. As far as IMD is concerned, earlier they were categorizing this particular cyclone as a severe cyclone, but yesterday night they have changed its classification. They have now identified it as a very severe category cyclone. The wind speed is expected currently, it is expected around 120 kilometer in that sense, 120 to 130 kilometer.
Right. Tapas, well, we'll be coming right back to you since we are focusing on this issue right now, but we are joined now by Revenue Department Officer Selvam from Mamalapuram in Tamil Nadu for more updates. Right, Mr. Shivam, what are the measures that have been taken by your administration in order to...
Yes, Selvam, I am Selvam, sir.
Right. Mr. Selvam, what preparations have you made, what preparations have been made by the administration in order to ensure that there are no casualties?
Yes, ma'am. In our Chengalpattu district, the Magalipuram is the most vulnerable point, ma'am. We have evacuated 532 people from the huts, tiles and old buildings, ma'am. They are evacuated yesterday. We are giving foods and all basic amenities. We have supplied blankets and water packets, food packets also they are supplied. We have evacuated also the boats also. We have NDRF team also arrived in this Magalipuram. Yesterday they arrived. Morning itself we have evacuated the boats and the fishermen's things also. We are ready for facing the evacuating all measures, ma'am.
Right. Well, these are the measures as far as evacuation is concerned. The cyclone is expected to make landfall at night. if I'm correct. That's what the IMD is saying. So, will there be other precautions, special other precautions considering the time of day? Because earlier it was supposed to be in the afternoon.
Yes, ma'am. As of now, there is no damages are reported. We are ready. All our vulnerable persons are evacuated to the safe place, ma'am. Any disturbance we will be faced, sir. No issues. For the rest of the there is no issues thereafter.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Selvam, for joining us there and for your inputs. Mr. Selvam there from the Revenue Department telling us about the preparations, the preparedness of the administration as far as bracing for Cyclone Nivar is concerned. And we go back once again to our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya, who's giving us all the updates from the IMD. Well, Tapas, you were telling us about how the cyclone has, well, earlier it was expected to make landfall in the afternoon. Now, the IMD is saying that it has changed somewhat and landfall likely at night.
That's right. That is what we have been told today in the morning when we were, in fact, we are keeping a close eye on the movement of the cyclone from and in IMD, in fact, is issuing an hourly bulletin. And as per the hourly bulletin, they have yesterday, in fact, yesterday night also, they told us that it is expected that the landfall, which was earlier expected in the post-noon time, now it will be happening somewhere in the night. Now, talking about that, NDRF has actually swung into action. In fact, 22 teams have been deployed by NDRF. In fact, 12 teams are currently in Tamil Nadu, 3 teams in Puducherry, and 7 teams are in Andhra Pradesh, according to the latest information given by the NDRF to us, that they have decided to put in place their own team. And they have a headquarter in Tamil Nadu. From there, they are closely monitoring the situation out there. Also, something that one needs to take into consideration, that both the local administration as well as the NDRF are working in tandem to make sure that what happened in 2018 during the cyclone Gaza does not take place again. Because remember, at that time, a lot of people lost their lives, and almost 45 people lost their lives because of that particular cyclone in 2018, the last cyclone that happened in Tamil Nadu. So the authorities are wary of that. They're keeping a close eye also on the reservoir situation, because remember, there is an incessant run that is currently taking place, and the reservoirs are getting full. And there's a couple of reservoirs they are keeping a close eye, and if the need arises, they will start to slowly release water from those reservoirs. 2015, there was a massive flood that took place in Tamil Nadu, which actually caused a lot of mayhem, and the authorities would like to be careful about that and don't want to repeat that particular mistake. Also, IMD has also issued a warning for the storm surge, which is expected to be almost 2 meters once the cyclone hits, and is expected to inundate the low-lying areas of the coastal areas of Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, and all those places where the landfall is expected to take place. Rukma.
Right. Tapas, will be coming back to you. Meanwhile, as far as latest news and preparedness for Cyclone Nivar are concerned, the Indian Coast Guard and the Indian Navy have geared up to provide humanitarian aid and disaster relief in view of the cyclone. 4 Coast Guard offshore patrol vessels have been deployed at sea in disaster relief configuration for assistance to fishermen and merchants at sea, besides 2 helicopters on standby for immediate launch post-landfall rescue and relief efforts. 3 Dornier aircraft are on standby at Visakhapatnam for surveillance and damage assessment. The Indian Navy has deployed a vessel from Visakhapatnam with HADR brakes and diving teams to render assistance. This is in addition to 5 flood relief teams and 1 diving team ready at Chennai. The naval facilities at Nagapattinam, Rameshwaram and INS Parundu also have flood relief teams on standby. Naval ship INS Jyoti has been deployed from Visakhapatnam to render assistance along the Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coasts. Meanwhile, the Madras Atomic Power Station has said it is braced to face the cyclone as all preparatory measures have been put in place. It has said all its power plant systems are operating normally and are expected to withstand the impact of the cyclone. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palanisamy has urged people not to panic as the government has taken all precautionary measures. Addressing the media after reviewing arrangements at the Emergency Operations Centre in Chennai, he said district collectors had been given instructions to focus on 4,133 vulnerable areas. He said orders had been issued to release surplus water when storage reached 22 feet in the Chembaram Bakam Reservoir, which supplies water to the city of Chennai. Meanwhile, the Indian Railways has announced that they have partially cancelled and diverted certain trains passing towards Tamil Nadu and Puducherry via Andhra Pradesh from Tuesday and Wednesday due to Cyclone Nivar. The Tamil Nadu Health Department has kept 465 ambulances on high alert in coastal areas in view of the cyclone. And again, in view of the cyclone, public holiday has been declared today in Tamil Nadu. Only essential services will continue to operate. Bus and rail services remain either curtailed or suspended in vulnerable districts due to the cyclone. Metro train services in Chennai will today run with holiday timetable, with service hours from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Metro train services will be regulated based on the wind speed and water level in track during rain and cyclone. The state's inter-department teams have been deployed at all districts that fall under the path of the cyclone. And as we were telling you, because of Cyclone Nivar, public holiday has been declared in Tamil Nadu. Only essential services will continue to operate. Suburban train services have been cancelled in Chennai. And joining us now from Chennai on the phone line is our correspondent Philip Matthew, who has been consistently giving us ground details on the ground. Well, Philip, once again coming to you about the weather situation now. We believe that normal life likely to be disrupted today. Trains have been cancelled and also public holiday has been declared.
That's right, Rukma. In fact, public holiday was declared yesterday evening in view of the impending cyclone. We are told that even private firms, many private firms have declared a holiday on their own. So in fact, most of the roads are deserted. All we can see are essential services. The police and health department officials alone plying on the road. The roads are fairly deserted. It's been raining since early morning. We are seeing fairly heavy showers since morning. In fact, even as I speak to you, the rain is coming down quite heavily here in Chennai. In fact, there are heavy rains forecast right through the course of the day. As you mentioned earlier, the Chief Minister has held review meetings with senior officials and instructed all the district collectors to keep a watch on water bodies that are likely to surplus in the course of the day. Vulnerable people have been shifted to safer places. Their emergency camps have been opened, and arrangements have been made to not just house people but to feed them as well. There is also, the efforts have also been made to ensure that emergency teams from the Public Works Department, from the Health Department and the Electric Department are on standby to ensure that, normalcy is restored at the earliest once the cyclone passes by. So this is, the state government has said it's leaving no stone unturned to ensure that normalcy is restored at the earliest with minimum loss of life and property.
Right, Philip, we believe the NDRF is armed with tree cutters, also all proper equipment to restore phone lines, to restore electricity lines and to remove trees and other natural the impact of the cyclone as and when it happens. But coming to the fact that, there's likely to be a storm surge, we believe, as far as the IMD says. So this could cause flooding. And a lot of concern for reservoirs in the area. What about Chennai? Can you give us a sense of how people should be careful there?
Well, you're right, Rukma. In fact, if you remember, the 2015 floods were caused by, flood waters being released from the Chembrambakam reservoir, and this reservoir is now close to 95% full. And if the moment the level crosses 22 feet, we are told that the Chief Minister has said instructions have been given to PWD officials to release water to ensure that there is no repeat of the 2015 floods. He said efforts were underway to ensure that all tanks and lakes in the district were being monitored very carefully to ensure that surplus water does not hamper the lives of people living along the river banks and the lake banks. So clearly lessons have been learned from the 2015 floods to ensure that necessary measures are taken to prevent any loss of life or property.
Right, Philip, we'll have to leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for joining us with those inputs. We go back once again to our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya. Tapas, we were just speaking to Philip. He was telling us about the situation on the ground. Coming to you, well, earlier we had spoken to an officer in the Revenue Department in Mahabalipuram. Which are the places that are most vulnerable as far as the IMD has said? Could you point those out? Also, any special advisories even now for coastal areas?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, orange alert has been sounded on south coastal Andhra Pradesh, and a red alert, in fact, has been sounded at the coastal north interior Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Karaikal area for today. For tomorrow, for Rayalaseema, the district of Rayalaseema will be under a red alert. In fact, we've been told that isolated extremely heavy rainfall activity is expected around Cuddalore, Chennai, Kanchipuram, Ayurur, Perambur, then Tiruvannamalai, Puducherry and Karaikal district today. And the whole, in fact, day and all the places which you would find extremely high amount of rainfall activity over the course of the day. In fact, we are awaiting from the IMD the latest figures. They will be coming out with that the latest figures of what is the amount of rainfall activity that has taken place. But the Chennai is expected to be affected heavily because of the rainfall activity. And we are expected that in places, for instance, Telangana also and other coastal areas, the orange alert also has been sounded, and we've been told that heavy rainfall activity is expected in those particular area, along with a gusting wind of almost 80 to 90 km/h, which will be accompanying this particular rainfall activity. Rukma.
Right, Tapas, thank you so much for joining us there and for those detailed inputs. So the IMD, the entire administration from both the centre as well as the states in full preparation for Cyclone Nivar as the cyclone comes closer to the coast. In and around Puducherry and Karaikal are experiencing sporadic rains since yesterday early morning itself. The district administration is geared up and has taken a wide range of precautionary measures to meet any eventualities due to Nivar. Prohibitory orders have been clamped in Puducherry district since 9 p.m. yesterday to 6 a.m. tomorrow. Government has declared a public holiday today. Further, it has announced that people in distress may call 104 for medical, 108 for ambulance support and 1070 and 1077 apart from general numbers 100, 101, 112 and 1031. The Karaikal district administration has instructed fishermen to keep their fibre boats, fishing nets and boat engines in the work shelter to avoid any damage or loss. And under the influence of Cyclone Nivar, moderate rains and thunder showers are very likely over entire Andhra Pradesh as well today as well as tomorrow. with isolated heavy to very heavy rainfall at one or two places of south coastal Andhra Pradesh and Rayalaseema. Extremely heavy rain is likely to occur at Nellore, Chittoor on the 25th of November and at Kurnool on the 26th November 2020. According to S. Stella, Director IMD Amaravati, heavy rains are likely at one or two places of north coastal Andhra Pradesh on the 25th and the 26th of November 2020. Joining us now on the phone line is our correspondent Srinivas from Vijayawada. Srinivas, well, even though we believe that Tamil Nadu is likely to face maximum impact, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry, Andhra Pradesh too is bracing for Cyclone Nivar. What updates can you give us as far as preparedness and so on are concerned?
Yes, Andhra Pradesh has been bracing for Nivar cyclone. Chittoor and Nellore would be heavily affected. NDRF, SDRF teams have been deployed there and they've been put on standby, and the control rooms have been established. They are working on 24/7 and monitoring the situation here. And government officials have been asked to come to office, and they have been their leaves have been cancelled. They've been asked to available 24/7 here. Special officers have been deployed at block levels in Nellore district. Collectors of Nellore, Chittoor and Anantapura and Kurnool are reviewing the situation here. And Prakasham may also see a rainfall of with this Nivar. Another point is since this Nivar is moving towards Bangalore, Anantapur might get affected heavily this time.
Yes.
That's the update we have here.
Right. Well, you keep your eyes on that story, Srinivas, and well, full preparations in place. All precautionary measures have been taken, as you tell us, even in Andhra Pradesh. Thank you so much for joining us. And well, viewers, Cyclone Nivar expected to make landfall tonight or by late evening today. That's all in this special edition of the news. Namaskar.